Chris Reardon with you. United Kingdom Talk. Hope you're well. Lots of emails as always. Email address for the show is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. As you can probably hear, we're out in the garden again. It's a beautiful day, and for the first time, I'm now using my new green umbrella. Would you like to have a look at it? My new green umbrella, as supplied by my dear friend Justin, who runs a pub. Now, just a minute now. I shall show and, of course, describe to you, my darlings. Look at this. Oh, it does. Yes, it does. Right, it does look like a bit like a pub umbrella. Hang on, where is it? There it is. It does look like a bit of a pub umbrella. I'll try and hide the manufacturer, because I'm not so sure whether I should have it or not, to be honest. But this is the lovely green umbrella as supplied to me by my dear friend Justin, and I'm sitting underneath that today because it's oh, you didn't see that, did you? Because it's picked it up from a car boot sale. There we are. It's shielding me from the beautiful sun rays today. Now, hang on, let me just put my bits and pieces back together there. So, lovely colour, actually, I think. I don't know what the neighbours think, to be honest, me having a pub umbrella in the garden. I could, of course, have bought one, but you know me, if something's free, why buy it, eh? That's what I say. Now, we've got all the flowers coming out in the garden. We've got a lovely bit of a red rose behind me. I wonder if this one smells. I don't know if these smell or not. Just a minute. No lovely smell on those ones. It's a shame, really. Over the years, a lot of the roses and things have been, what's the word when they stick to? Is it hybrids and things like that? And yes, they look very nice, but it's a shame that the smell has disappeared. You know, so some of them, the older ones, old English roses, you can still get plenty of old varieties. They do have a beautiful aroma to them. But the newer varieties seem to look very nice, but they don't actually smell of anything, which is a shame. Unlike the roses I smelt yesterday. Let me tell you, yesterday I had one of the best ever days. It was fantastic. Do you remember, and it all happened so quickly, really. Do you remember a couple of months ago, I told you I wanted to take my friend out, Wayne the butler, to afternoon tea at Fortnum Masons for his birthday? Well, just after I finished the last show, the phone rang. And he says, oh, yes, I've got a few days off now. I said, from when? He said, from now. I said, well, you're joking. He said, no. I said, well, funnily enough, I've got a day off in a couple of days, right? And for some reason, I thought it was Thursday. He said, really? I said, do you want to do your afternoon birthday thing? He said, I'd love to. So, okay, I said, leave it to me. So I'm on on the internet, checking out everything, and I booked a table for afternoon tea at 2 o'clock on the Thursday, right? So I done all that, and then I realised that night I'd done the wrong day, and it was actually tomorrow, okay, that I had the day off and not the day after. Now, of course, it's a bit late now. I could have done it on the Thursday, but the point is, it would have all been a bit of a rush, to be honest. I mean, I could come into London during the daytime and then go back again at night to get ready for work and then come back again. Now, it's just madness. You know, rush all the time. We don't like to rush, dear. Oh, no, I bet you don't rush. Do you rush? Or do you make them wait? Yes, make them wait. That's what I say, make them wait. So I was back on the internet, and fortunately, I was able to change the booking on the internet. It's good, isn't it? Didn't have to speak to anyone or anything. So I'm going to put my sunglasses on, even though I'm under here. It's very bright today. It's a beautiful day. So changed the day. Quickly rung up Wayne. Can you make it tomorrow instead of the day after? He said, yes, no problem at all. I said, fantastic. I'll meet you in London at 1 o'clock. Put the phone down. Everything arranged, right? So yesterday, I got up quite early because I had the whole day and the whole night off. Nothing to do at all, which is, to be honest, is unusual for me. Got up about 10 o'clock, 11:15, And you can't turn up at these places in tracksuit bottoms and T-shirts. It's just not on. You wouldn't get in, to be honest. You wouldn't. Oh, it's a posh restaurant, dear. I'll tell you how much. I know what you're saying. I bet that cost an arm and a leg. I'll come on to that later. Don't worry. We don't want to peak too early. Also, today, I will try and get through to the bank story that I had to tell you. Remember in the last show, and we ran out of time, so I've got so much to tell you there. So much. So I got up, got dressed. I had a pair of trousers on, which actually, between you and me, are the same trousers I wear for bingo. Now, I do have a few pairs of trousers upstairs, but in all honesty, I shouldn't really tell you this, I can't get the top buttons done up. You know what I'm saying? So I have one pair of trousers, which is a little larger than all the others, which I wear for bingo. So I put those on. I've got a short-sleeved shirt, okay, white shirt, not the one I've got on. This is a blue one I've got on today, or very dark blue. Put the shirt on, and I had a jacket as well, pair of shoes, and dark socks. I can't remember the last time I wore dark socks. I've only got white socks, but I put on a pair of dark socks. I didn't have breakfast because of the anticipation of the amount of food that I was expecting to get at this little restaurant. I should hope so as well for that price, dear. God almighty. And I left the house around about 12:15 for the 12 o'clock train. Now, you might be asking, why don't you just drive in? Let me tell you. Driving in London during the day is an absolute nightmare. Traffic everywhere. We've got charges left, right and centre. We have a congestion charge. So, okay, so if you drive in a certain area of a large area of London, it's not a small area, you know. If you ever come into the UK for a holiday, all the time in London, let me tell you, you do not need to hire a car. I don't care what anyone else says. If you're coming to London and you are just staying in London, you do not need or indeed want to hire a car. You can do it all on the buses and the tubes. It's easy to get around, okay? Remember that. Right, so I got to the train station 2 minutes before the train was due out. Oh yes, the charges in, well, we've got congestion charge. That's going to cost you £8 a day, just to drive into the capital. And we also have parking charges, which are astronomical. I mean, some places they charge you 20 pence, that's 40 cents, for about 3 minutes. All right, be very warned. Do not come to the UK, stay in London, and hire a car. It's too expensive. It's far too expensive, and you don't need it. Travel around on the bus and on the train. You get to A to B much more quicker, okay? Got to I left the house, started walking, around about 11:20 in the morning, got to the train station at 2 minutes to midday, with the train due at 2 minutes past. Went and bought my train ticket, £11.40 return, which I think is pretty good value. Do you know, it's a long time since I came to London by train. From what I think it's a couple of years ago, and I'm sure the price hasn't changed. Maybe it's the off-peak price that hasn't changed. I'm sure it was £11.40 last time, or £11.80, something like that. Anyway, got the ticket, went through, stood on the station, looked at the clock, and it was 11:55, and there were two. You know me, I talk to anyone, don't I? There were two people, a middle-aged bloke and a younger bloke, and they had the train uniforms on, South West trains. Now, if you watch the YouTube video, at the end, you will actually see a South West train pulling off as the music comes up, all right, as I say goodbye and all that business. So I started talking to them. I said, do you like your job? And I said, yeah, it's all right. It's more interesting than most. Each day is different. You get to talk to loads of people. And I thought, hello, talk to loads of people. You got my thing there. And these two people, they were actually fraud people. They were looking for people without tickets and that sort of thing. And he was saying how interesting. He did find the job interesting. And he said it pays the bills. I'm always a bit wary of people that say they do a job and it pays the bills. Does that mean they're only doing it for the money? So maybe it's not as enjoyable as he said. I don't know. So I had a little bit of a chat with them. They seemed to be quite happy. And then 2 minutes later, bang on time, the train came towards me. Okay, the doors open. Oh, yes. They're all automatic doors. You push a button and the doors open. When I was younger, at school, I used to play trains. Oh, yes. Most of the time I was the engine. Sometimes, when no one else wanted to play trains, I played trains on my own. And sometimes I was an underground train, and I liked to do the doors, you know. Mind the doors. And then see the train would move off. And I'd get to the station. Doors, mindy doors. And there was always an accent. Because usually, the guy, I say usually, and I'm sure it was most of the time, they would have an accent. Just before the doors closed, someone would scream down the platform, "Mindy doors!" Like that. In Japan, on their underground trains there, they actually employ people with big sticks to push people onto the train. I'm serious. You have a look at YouTube, okay? Anyone who's got access to the internet, go on YouTube and type in Japanese underground train helpers or something like that. And you will see these station staff are actually employed to push people onto the train. You couldn't swing a cat in those trains. Well, probably the cat would get squashed. I'm not recommending you take your cat on a Japanese train. All right, be careful. Anyway, back to the story. So I get on the train as the doors open, and I sat quite empty, about 12 o'clock in the afternoon, very nice, and I sat on the train, and off it went. And it stopped at all the... It was, how many stations? Started off at Bracknell, then Martin's Heron, Virginia Water, and various other little stations, until it got to Richmond. Now, for me as a driver, that would be the easy part of the journey would be between Bracknell and Richmond. From Richmond, you're kind of in London. Although Richmond is in Surrey, it's like Richmond and then London is quite close after that. And the journey, Richmond to Waterloo, would take a fair amount of time. You get stuck at traffic lights, you get stuck in traffic, and it's really not a good journey during the daytime. So this train gets to Richmond, and then the next stop is Clapham Junction, and it tears through all these little stations, and it's like 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, something like that. That's all it takes. And I just sat there imagining myself sitting in the car in traffic, you know, like that. Oh, things are blowing, just a minute. You're just imagining it's, oh dear. Why is it always seems to be a bit of a wind come up whenever I sit down. Oh, don't start the wind stories. There's an email there from John about wind stories. Joe, rather. Coming up later. And I just imagine myself sitting there, tapping my feet, wishing that the traffic wasn't there. None of that at all in the train. I sat there with a newspaper, looking out the window. The sun was shining brightly. And to be honest, life couldn't have been much better yesterday. It really couldn't have. Got to Clapham Junction, which is the busiest railway station here in the UK. I think, I'm not sure. I think that might be the busiest railway station in Europe, to be honest. Clapham Junction, huge station, lines coming in all over the place. Stop there, doors open, people on, people off, and off it went again, and the next stop was Waterloo. And again, the journey between Clapham and Waterloo by car during the daytime, don't do it. Get the train. Once again, the train set off, tore through all these little stations, Battersea and Vauxhall and places like that, and arrived at Waterloo. The doors opened, got out the train. Lovely. Walked along the platform, and there, at the end of the platform, was my friend Wayne the butler. Oh, it was like a scene from the Railway Children. It really was, dear. You know that bit where the kids get off the train? No, the kids are waiting at the platform and the dad gets off the train and all this. Have you seen the Railway Children? Oh, you must see it. You have to see the original version with, what's her name? Sewell, isn't it? Sewell. Is it Amanda? Can't think of her name now. You've got to see the original Railway Children. Beautiful, beautiful film. And at this point, you see, that it's a big steam train. Obviously, there was no steam coming underneath the electric train I got off. But there's a scene in it where all this, the train is pulled up. His children, I think there's 3 of them. Is there 3 of them? 2 girls and a boy. Yeah. His children are waiting on the platform. Okay? The train pulls up. And there's all steam coming out from the train, underneath the train. And all you can see is steam on this platform. And the kids are waiting there. And all of a sudden, the shape of their father appears. And she runs up. Daddy! Daddy! Oh, it's all very emotional. Very, very emotional. You've got to see that film, okay? The Railway Children. Oh, you'll love it. If you like anything a bit soppy and a bit nice, you will love that film, okay? Unfortunately, I've given away the end of the film, because that's what happens, right? I think it's right at the end that happens. Yeah, lovely film. The Railway Children, remember that, all right? So, there's Wayne. I said, hello, hello. He said, I thought we'd walk over the bridge, because it was about 1 o'clock now, and our table was booked for 2 o'clock. Fortnum Masons, afternoon tea. So we walked over the walking bridge. Now, where is that? I think it's next to. I can't think. I don't know what the little bridge is called. Actually, it's kind of a football. If you go. Let me think. The Royal Festival. Okay, the Royal Festival Hall on the South Bank. Right, if you go there, that's where this little walking bridge is. It's lovely. It's only a walking bridge, and next to it, you've got the big train bridge as well. But the walking bridge is completely separate from the train bridge. So we walked over that, and the views yesterday across the Thames were fantastic. Okay, there's another idea for you. If you come to London, go to the South Bank. Just go and stand on any of the... There's a couple of walkover bridges, and you will see right down the Thames and St Paul's Cathedral and Big Ben and everything. Oh, it's fantastic. And also, do it during the daytime and do it at night as well. Completely different experience. All the lights of London and what have you. So we walked over there, and then we walked past some of the shops. Piccadilly, we went through near Piccadilly. There's lots of shops there as well, of course, and ended up at Fortnum Masons. It was about 1:45, so a little bit early, and we went into the shop. All very grand, dear, all very grand. Now Wayne tells me it's recently been done up a bit, and before Wayne informs me that it was very, very old English and very grand. But it's now been redone and is looking more inside now like a very high-class supermarket. That's according to him. I don't know because I didn't go there before. But nevertheless, I mean, as you go in, I'm just so impressed with the place. Oh, it's beautiful in there. Absolutely beautiful. The carpet is... I mean, they must spend half the day hoovering the carpet, I think. Beautiful red carpet in there. And what's on that bottom floor? Do you know what was on that bottom floor as we walked in? Tea. Rows and rows and rows of different tea bags. Oh, I was in heaven, dear. I was in heaven. It was all the black teas, white teas, green teas, fruit teas. They were all there. Everything you could possibly want. Fantastic. And all the staff there all dressed. I mean, I thought one bloke was going to go to a wedding. He had like long towel behind him. I mean, you've never seen anything like it. Just amazing. Not particularly busy in there. I suppose really it's only people with loads of money and people who are in London for the day that go to these places, is it? I mean, I suppose people with loads of money, they too would possibly go shopping there. I don't know, every week maybe, possibly. I don't know, but you've got to go there to experience it. There's plenty and plenty of other shops like that in London. You've got Harrods, of course. There's a fly around there. There's Harrods. I mean, they're all around that area. The only one, the Simpsons of Piccadilly, that has now gone. And that's a great shame, because they had the most marvellous Christmas lights. The whole thing would be strewn with Christmas lights around the Christmas period. So, we've gone in there, and I looked at the watch, and it was coming up to time. So then we got in the lift. Now, what do you think the lift was like? Stainless steel? I don't think so, dear. It's all wooden inside the lift, with beautiful mirrors and things like that. Actually, the lift was full up with people. Full up. And I pushed, there were two lifts. I pushed one button, and this very well spoken gentleman says, "Oh, that one doesn't work. Do try the other one." And then his wife obviously came. Well, she said, "It does work if you just wait a little while." I thought, how nice. Yeah, quite a lot of the time, people are frightened to speak to each other now, aren't they? Do you find that? For some reason, people don't seem to like speaking to each other. I don't get it. I love it. I love a conversation, you and me. What we do, we have 3 conversations a week, don't we? Here on United Kingdom Talk. Anyway, in the lift, going up, first floor, doors opened, someone else got in. There was hardly God knows how we all got in this lift. And everyone was like well-spoken and posh. You know, I had to change my voice into posh mode. Yes, I can do it, actually. I can do posh mode. "Oh, how are you?" I can do chav mode. "All right, mate, how's it going?" I can do foreign mode. "Good day. How may I help you, sir?" And I can do Dalek mode. "This is the Daleks. Oh, they, the Daleks." Oh, yes, I can do all the different voices. Can you? Huh? Do you ever put on a voice on the phone? Do you know what? When I get phone calls on people trying to sell things, I talk gibberish, and they soon put the phone down. So the phone would ring. "Hello? Oh, hello, is that Mr. Reardon? Who wants to know?" "Oh, well, I'm from so-and-so." "I would be that." "Sorry, sir?" "Is that Mr. Reardon?" "Hello, sir." And the phone goes dead. They don't ring back. Go away from me. Don't like these salesmen. Ringing me up at all hours of the day and night, dear. And that phone doesn't half start early sometimes, isn't it? Just past 9 o'clock in the morning. I know we have the telephone preference service, so you can register with that here in the UK. And it's supposed to stop most of the calls coming through. And I have registered, actually, but I still get the calls now and again for some reason. Anyway. Gone up the stairs, doors opened, and there we are. St. James's Restaurant. I mean, it just got an air of quality about it, hasn't it? St. James's Restaurant. As soon as you hear that name, you think, I've arrived. I have arrived in this life. So we've gone in there, a couple of people in front of me. What is it called? The maitre d'? Is it the maitre d'? What does that mean? Does that just mean person in charge? Is it just a title given to a waiter to make them feel better? Is that what it is? Please tell me, because I don't know. It's not my thing, is it? All this stuff is not really my thing. Standing in the queue, Wayne's standing next to me. I've given him the bits of paper because he understands how to do all this. I mean, I haven't got a clue. I was just paying the money, dear. You know. So I've given him my my thing that I printed out off the internet. And Wayne says, "Oh, table for 2. What name, please? Mr. Reardon." Okay. At that point, to my total embarrassment... Oh, hang on. Just a minute now. When I met Wayne, I had with me a Sainsbury's recycled carrier bag. Now, Wayne is posh. I have to tell you, he is posh. And I said, "Do you like my clothes today?" And I had the jacket, the trousers. He said, "Very good, dear." He said, "But what's with the bag?" And I'm like, "What's wrong with the bag?" He says, "Oh, dear." And he had more of a, I don't know, like a satchel type thing. He said, "Well, give it here and I'll put it in this bag." And then on the way to Fortnum Masons, we went past a newspaper stand that was fortunately giving away free rucksacks for Evening Standard. Yes, hang on, let me go and get it. I got something free yesterday, which I'm quite pleased about. Just a minute now. As I've said before, you don't buy things if you can get them for free, do you? Right, just into the house there. My new blue Evening Standard free rucksack. It must have cost them a fortune to give these away, I would have thought. There we are. Let's sit down there. Look at this. It's navy blue with a bit of a white thing around the outside, and it was free yesterday. Oh, a lovely new smell of plastic, isn't it? Do you like that? Oh, a little rucksack. Look at this. And apparently, Wayne tells me it was more acceptable to put my items, my camera, see I took a camera with me, my camera and my other bits and pieces in this bag rather than the Sainsbury's recyclable ever-use bag thing, because then when we arrived at the restaurant, if they said anything, we could have said that we'd just been to the gym. Of course, you wouldn't be able to say it's any old gym. You wouldn't be able to say it's Westminster Council gym. You'd have to say it was something like David Lloyd or something like that, wouldn't you? One of the posh ones, dear. Yes, you would, dear. Anyway, so I've got this bag, right, held by my side. The people in front of us at the queue, we're back in the restaurant now, incidentally, St James's restaurant. The people at the front of the queue moved forward. The maitre d' was coming towards us, and then to my horror, my mobile phone went off in my bag, playing at full volume the theme music to Doctor Who. Wayne, he glared at me. He went like that. He absolutely glared at me, and I had to rush out the side door. And quick. I mean, you couldn't have made it up, could you? You couldn't have made it up. I had to rush out the door from where we just came in, closing the door quickly behind me to rifle through my bag and find and quickly turn off this mobile phone. As it happens, it was my friend Justin. You know, Justin, who gave me the umbrella thing here, who I work for on Fridays at the Steam Coach. And this phone was playing the Doctor Who theme music at full volume, dear. Shocking. Anyway, I turned it off quickly and came back inside. And Wayne smiled at me gently, and he said, "Come on, we're going to the table now." Now, I had already requested a table by the window, and sure enough, we were taken over to a small table, and the tables are very low, like at just below knee height, okay, at the table. And the room itself, St James's restaurant, oh, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And they've got all these like they're not chairs like you would expect in a restaurant. They are comfy. They're almost like, you know, like a three-piece suite. Well, they've got little sofas there, but not trashy. You know, we're not talking your cheap sofas from your cheap furniture places. Nothing like that. These are just so comfortable. Little armchairs and little sofas all around this place with these very low down tables, all with white tablecloths on, and the plates are laid out, and the little cups. Oh, I mean, beautiful. A real experience. Sat down there, very quickly, one of the waiters, all dressed very smartly, and no attitude. There's one thing I can't bear in a restaurant, and that's a waiter with attitude. No attitude at all. This boy came over to us. I said there was quite a few waiters there, and you weren't waiting. You know how sometimes you go in one of these restaurants and you wait? Isn't that bad? Don't you hate that? Do you hate that? Waiting to be served in a restaurant? Oh, it does get on my nerves. Came over, nice smile on his face, can I help you? Here are the menus. Gave us the 2 menus, which we looked through, and we both decided on the same thing. I decided on Welsh rabbit with a bit of bacon on the top on tomato bread. And also after that we were to have scones. And, oh, by the way, there's 2 ways of saying that, scones and scones. I prefer to say the word scones. I'm sure that's the correct way. For years and years, people have rowed over that simple word. It's led to wars, believe me. Especially in places like Cornwall. It has, or was it up north? I don't know. It's led to wars, the word scones. Scones and little cakes as well. So, so we've ordered our meal. What tea do you want? I went for the Fortnum and Masons Royal Blend, which it's kind of had a ring to it, you know. And I can't remember what Wayne had now. He had a different tea to me, one of the black teas, possibly Assam. I think he might have had Assam tea. So off the way to Went, and we're sitting there chatting, and we're looking out of the window down onto road. I think it was Piccadilly, the other end of Piccadilly below us. Looking around, and it wasn't very busy at 2 o'clock because afternoon tea in the UK, the correct time for that is 4 p.m. All right, so we went in at 2, so just as it opened. Not many other people in the restaurant, to be honest. So all very nice. And very quickly, our meal arrived, our Welsh rabbit, and it was very well presented on little plates with, like, it's a very light green colour around the... I've got a Fortnum Masons bag here. Look, can you see that? It's like a very light greeny turquoisey colour. That's the Fortnum Masons colours. And all the plates and teapots are all that colour. Beautiful. Oh, just beautiful. The meal arrived, and I looked at Wayne, and I said, Wayne, do you think they would have? And very quickly he said no. So he obviously knew I was about to ask for tomato ketchup. Well, you know, I do like tomato ketchup. Very quickly, he cut me off like that. Are you sure that... No, they don't have any of that. I didn't even get the sentence out. Anyway, so I cut into my Welsh rabbit. It was beautifully done. Really very, very tasty. While we were having that, this lady came along. She said, would you like to select some cakes? And she brings over a little cake stand, which is like 3 tiers. And it's got different cakes on it. And you choose 2 or 3 cakes, and that's it. Right? So they go, and we have a cake stand on the table itself. It's like 3 tiers, and she put the cakes on the top. Right? Next thing I know, we're still eating, I think, and the original waiter comes along, and he brings the scones. They're on a plate, scones with a little tub of butter, tiny little. Oh, none of that plastic stuff, dear. You haven't got one of these things where you have to pull the top off. Oh no, they're in like a little china dish like that. It's very small. It's about half an inch all round, I suppose. Okay. And the same with jam. So there's 4 scones on this plate and some jam. So he's put that on there, on the middle one down. The one at the bottom is empty. So we've had the. So we've now had the Welsh rabbit, and the tea's arrived, all in little pots. No tea bags, dear. Over to the table arrives a pot, and excuse me, and a sieve, not a sieve, a tea strainer, and it's all silver. This little tea strainer, all silver. They put it on the table. You pour your own tea. Jug of milk comes over, all in the same colour, all in that green colour crockery stuff, right? And then, what happens then? Oh, so we finished a Welsh rabbit, and then I went to take a scone off the thing, and I put it on my plate and cut it in half. And Wayne said to me, we haven't had the sandwiches yet. I said, I don't think we get sandwiches as well. He said, are you sure, dear? because he speaks the same as me, dear. I said, I'm sure we don't get the sandwiches. The choice was sandwiches or Welsh rarebit. Oh, I forgot the glass of champagne. Oh, yes. Oh, we had a glass of champagne. And you know I don't drink. Of course, this thing's gone straight to my head. And I've loosened up now. I'm chatting away to Wayne. And he's laughing. A glass of rosé champagne. And I have to say, very tasty. That was to start with, okay, before the Welsh rarebit and the tea. So I'm knocking this back, and he says, oh, sip it, dear, sip it. I mean, I don't know, dear. It's different world to what I live in, as you know. When I go up to my sister, and they're all sitting... Oh, I've just banged me arm. We go up to my sister's house, and they're all sitting there with cans of lager. I mean, it's a different... I mean, I'm sitting there with my tea. It's a different world altogether. But the champagne, I could get used to that, dear. I could quite get used to that. I'm thinking now of having a champagne garden in my champagne party in my garden at some point. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Anyway, glass of champagne done, Welsh rarebit done, scone on the plate, right? He's saying about this, I'm sure we haven't. He says, oh, he said, are you still hungry? I said, yes, very. And I'm looking at these 4 scones and these little cakes on the top, and I thought, that's not going to fill me up. So I said to him, we could always get a pasty at the train station later. He said, no, I'm sure we have some sandwiches. And he called over the waiter. And he said to the waiter, could we have a plate of sandwiches as well, please? And the waiter said, no problem at all. Do you both want a plate of sandwiches? I said, oh, yes, please. He said, no problem. And off he went. 2 minutes later, this one plate of sandwiches arrived. We had 4 each. And there were 4 little triangular cut sandwiches. Okay, and they weren't very big, about, oh, let me see, about 2 inches wide and about 1 inch high. Little triangles, and there were 4 different types of sandwiches each. But you only had it was like, say you have one piece of bread and you cut it into 4 triangles, that each triangle would be a different sandwich. And there was ham and mustard, which is my favourite. There was salmon, which I ate, but I'm not keen on fish at all. Like that. Salmon, I didn't enjoy the salmon one, really. There was cheese and something. And I can't think what the other one was, but they were all very nice. So we had those sandwiches. Then we moved on to the scones. Okay, so I had 1 scone. We had a plain one and a raisin one. I think it was raisins in there. So I got that. Now, of course, I picked up this little tub of... I thought it was butter. I mean, it was yellow. I thought it was butter. So I've got this, scraped it, because I don't eat a lot of butter. Scraped it on the scone, little bit of jam, and I'm sitting there eating it with my fingers out, trying to look posh. Wayne picks up a scone, my God, and he smothered this thing with what I thought was butter. I said, how much butter are you putting on that? He said, what butter? I said, what you're putting on there? He said, this isn't butter, it's clotted cream. I couldn't tell the difference. I thought it was butter. It was the same colour, it was yellow. I said, well, why is it yellow then? He said, that's the colour of the butter, of clotted cream, it's yellow. I said, well, I didn't know that. And he smothered this on. It's like that thick on there. It's me with a bit of a scraping on there. Anyway, as we were eating those, one of the other waitresses came over, and she said, would you like some more scones? I thought, well, we haven't eaten these ones yet. And Wayne said, yes, please. She said, I'll bring you another 4. And off she went. She put some, and she took off that plate from the stack of 3, okay? Remember, we've got this little cake thing with 3 levels. She took the middle one off and put another 4 scones there with another little thing of clotted cream and another thing of jam. And I thought, well, I'm going to get my money's worth this time out of the cream. So the next scone I took, I covered it. Lashings of cream, well, I say lashings. These scones are only they're very small, about 1 inch all round, okay? So we put the cream on there. Oh, and a bit of jam, delicious. Absolutely delicious. And then after that, we moved on to the top level, which was the cakes. Again, tiny little cakes. I had this lemon thing, and a small eclair, and a coconut thing as well, which was all very nice, really very nice. And Wayne had a chocolate cake, and I can't think of something else as well. can't think of the other one he had. So we had those and finished the tea off, and that was all very nice. And before we started, of course, the waiter came. He puts the before we even got the champagne at the beginning of the afternoon. He took the serviette and unfolded it and placed it on my lap. How nice is that? I thought it was getting funny, to be honest. I was a bit worried. What's going on here? But yes, they put the serviette on your lap and what have you. And so it came to the end of the afternoon. So I'm brushing these crumbs off, and Wayne, he glared at me. I love it. It's fantastic. He glared at me again and said, I'm not so much worried about the crumbs, dear. It's the tea stain on the cloth. Just move the teapot over onto that. So we moved the teapot onto the tea stain that accidentally had dripped out the end of this posh teapot. And that was it. We stayed to chat. There's no rushing. They don't rush you at all. You know when you've been in a restaurant and you can feel that you're being rushed out? None of that at all. We were completely and totally left alone, which I like. It does annoy me when people keep coming. I mean, I know they're only trying to do their job and be helpful sometimes, but I don't mind someone coming up once, but everything okay. Okay, fair enough. But some places, they keep doing it, don't they? But they leave you alone, and you are not rushed at all. And no bill was presented to me until I asked for it. And I says, "Oh, I'll go and get the bill." And Wayne says, "No, dear, you have to send them a sign. You kind of hold your hand. You attract the waiter's attention. All you got to do is look up, and they look over, and they come straight over. Oh, it's fantastic. That's what you're paying for. You see, you are paying for this." Yeah, to ask for the bill, you simply put your hand out, and with your other hand, finger and thumb together, and kind of pretend you're writing something out like that. You just, excuse me, like that. And they wave, nod their head, and off they go and collect your bill. And my bill arrived. Now, this is the bit you're waiting for, isn't it? How much do you think? And they've heard what we had to eat. You've heard what we had to drink. You've heard the surroundings were second to none. Absolutely. Beautiful. Spotless. Classy. Very classy. There's no trash in there, dear. Like my sister. I'm only joking. You know I'm only joking. It's just nice. Classy. Okay? How much? For 2 people. £84.50. I can hear you go like that. £84.50. I don't think we were charged extra for the sandwiches, for whatever reason. But £84.50, I knew that before I went in. I was happy to pay it. I was happy to pay it for that experience. So, I had the exact money, put the money in a little thing. Service charge is included at 12.5%. Okay, but I always feel that service charges, I always feel that you need to leave something on the table as well. So as well as that, he took the money away, bought the thing back, thank you sir, put it on the table, off he went. And I also left, I said to Wayne, how much do you think we should leave? He says, £5 will be enough. So I put £5 on the table as well. And up we got, and went out. And we were in there hour and a half, 2 hours, sitting there, taking our time. By 3:30, the restaurant had started filling up. But an experience, if you're holidaying in London, I highly recommend that you try that. Now, we went to Fortnum Masons for our afternoon tea. There are a lot of other places that do it. Some will be cheaper. Some will be dearer. Okay? I gather the Ritz Hotel, which is top notch, that is, I gather £100 or more there. I'm not 100% sure on that. You might want to look it up on the internet. But as part of your holiday, because when we go on holiday, we do spend money on stuff that perhaps we wouldn't normally do, don't we? I highly recommend you do something like that. And our experience was Fortnum Masons, St James's restaurant. It's every day between 2 p.m. and 7 p.m, I believe, okay? After that, we came out of the restaurant, went down the stairs, done a few more photographs, because we did a couple of photographs. If you actually look at the main United Kingdom Talk website, unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk, right, and check out this particular show. Now, on that site, this show will have the date 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12. This show will have the date of the 12th of July, 12th of June on it, okay? If you look there, then there should be a link somewhere to the pictures that I took in the restaurant, and certainly a little picture on the actual United Kingdom Talk post as well. All right, and you'll see the pictures there. Came down the stairs, and then we thought, well, we'll have a look around the shop while we're there. And we looked at some cards. They have birthday cards in there. £30 for one birthday card. Okay, and they have little baskets and picnic things, and just beautiful little items from an age long gone, I'm afraid to say. There was a particular little basket that had a flask in it and a couple of plates and some knives, and just the sort of thing that you might have seen years and years ago when families were in Victoria times, when families would perhaps take their children to the park, and they'd have one of these wicker baskets with all the food and what have you in there. And really, really nice. Now, I've just looked at the clock, and I can't believe how long I've been telling you about this experience. I don't think we're going to get onto many emails, to be honest, and certainly not onto the bank story. I haven't finished yet. That's the trouble. I haven't finished telling you. Shall I carry on with this, or do you want me to hold the rest of this for next time? There's not a lot more to tell you. I'll carry on with this. Excuse me. Now, the day we were in there were all sorts of things out for Father's Day, because that's of course just passed. And we went in this on this floor, and they were like, just again, things you would see in old English films, like the walnut desk, the little cupboards where you would keep the little drawers where you would keep cufflinks in, beautifully made of walnut. Hundreds of pounds, these items. Okay, hundreds of pounds. There was a punch. You know the punch that you buy to put holes in bits of paper? Well, there was a silver one. £90 for one of those. $180. There was a little letter opener, a silver letter opener. £50, $100 for something like that. Various items of crockery. There were globes. Just beautiful things, beautiful things. Things that have been made with love, properly. These things haven't come out of a machine somewhere. Highly polished walnut little drawers and things like that. And then we carried on, we didn't have a look at the clothes section really. Carried on back downstairs, and that's where the busiest floor was. All the teas and the confectionery, the sweets and things like that are all on the bottom floor, so we had a look around there. Again, very expensive. They had bars of chocolate in there that were £25 for a bar of chocolate. But one thing I did buy, yes, you've guessed it, I bought 2 boxes of Fortnum Masons Royal Blend Tea, which is a very nice, strong tea. 50 tea bags, I think cost me £4.50 for 50 tea bags. Okay, it says on here, Ceylon tea lends an uplifting note to the Maltia Assam for the perfect traditional cup of tea, and it is. It's a lovely cup of tea, this. First blended for King Edward VII and hugely popular ever since, royal blend at its regal best with a splash of cold milk. Now, once again, this is something you could order online if you wanted to try a proper English cup of old-fashioned tea. And I wouldn't tell you this if I didn't like it. I wouldn't be telling you this. It's a lovely cup. Royal Blend Royal Blend, Fortnum Masons. If you want to, you can order them. I wish I was on commission sometimes. When I share all these things with you of where I've been, what I've done, what I've bought, yeah, I'm sure people go out and buy stuff. I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds of different brands of tea. Supermarket tea, it's okay. You know, there's nothing wrong with it. Hundreds of brands of tea. But when you get this sort of thing, it really is a proper cup of English tea. Fortnum Masons Royal Blend Strong Tea, okay? Come to London and buy some of those. You won't be disappointed. So I bought 2 boxes of that. As I say, you can order them online. We then left there and we went for a little bit of a walk around. Wayne had to go to, I can't tell you where it was he worked. He was working at one of the embassies in London as a butler type thing for a while. And he had to go somewhere to pick up a cheque, which wasn't there. Apparently they'd forgotten to sign it. Oh, how many times have we heard that one, dear? So we left there and we walked around for about an hour, hour and a half. Then we decided to have another cup of tea. So we stopped at another little tea place, which was, I can't think where that was now. I can't. I think it was near Berkeley Square. There was a little tea place there, and of course, unfortunately, even after we've just had that big meal, the waiter then brought us out a menu, unfortunately, which had a chocolate ice cream type thing advertised. So we had 2 of those, 1 each. And that was very nice. And while we were sitting there, and this would have been right on the roadside, sitting there, watching the world go by, and this little smart car went back with like a thing sticking out of its roof or attached to the top of it, and a mobile camera. Do you know it was a mobile traffic enforcement camera? Westminster Council. I mean, where's it all going to end? It's Big Brother, isn't it? It just gets worse and worse. But then again, these sad individuals who work for the councils, they're so desperate for the money, aren't they? And it's just wrong, all this photographing going on all the time. So we had those items to eat, did another couple of photographs, and unfortunately we were sitting outside right next to a table of 2 people smoking, who just seemed to be smoking all the time. And of course the wind was blowing our way and this smoke kept coming over, and a little bit to kind of spoilt the afternoon really, all that smoke coming towards me, because we don't have smoking, as you know, here inside any public buildings anymore, which I'm very pleased about. After that then we went and we had a walk through Hyde Park, and rather than go under the subway, very foolishly we ran across 2 main roads and jumped over a fence so that we didn't have to walk all the way around. But so we went into Hyde Park by the river there. There were some beautiful little plants and things, little areas of garden that are kept well, and there's a cycle lane which is, it was now about 5:30 in the afternoon. This cycle lane that goes through the park is really busy. Let me tell you, if you come to London and you're in Hyde Park, do not walk in the cycle lane. You will be knocked over. You will absolutely be knocked over. Be very, very careful there, all right? So we've gone in walking by the river, and then we went in the Rose Garden, which is beautiful. This rose garden, and the aroma coming from it of all these different types of aromas of roses hit you just straight as you walked in. Oh, beautiful. Had a good smell there. There was all these young couples on settees snogging, dear. Once again, I felt very sad that there was no one for me to snog, but there you are, kissing away they were all the time. And from there we walked a little bit more around the park. We went to Buckingham. I know how you say it in America. Buckingham Palace. We say it Buckingham Palace. There was the changing of the guards going on. Lots of police everywhere at that time. All the guards in their bearskin hats and their red uniforms. And really foolishly, I had my camera on movie mode, and I was hoping to take a picture of all the guards, and I thought I had. Foolishly, I hadn't pushed the record button. How stupid am I? And once they've gone past, they've gone past. It was all the Union Jacks hanging everywhere around Buckingham Palace. What a lovely afternoon. And from there, we walked down the Mall, one of the arches, and then back to Piccadilly, back over the little walking bridge at Waterloo, and then I said goodbye to Wayne, and I had a 20-minute wait for my train. This would be 10 to 8 now at night. 10 to 8 at night. Station still quite busy, Waterloo train station. Got on the train, off it went straight away. It was quite a busy train, but people were getting out as we went along, so I had enough room in the seat. And the trains here in the UK, I found, are a lot cleaner now. They are a lot better than what they used to be. They really are. Great way to get around, trains, and I always, if I need to come to London during the daytime, I always get the train rather than take the car in, as I say. Got the train home, arrived back at Bracknell station about 10 to 9, walked back to my house from Bracknell station, and walked into the door at about 9:30. Watched a bit of television and did a bit of work. I did what you have to do with the photos, downloaded them onto the computer, and then went to bed. So a fantastic day yesterday, which was just all very suddenly arranged, and with a very good friend of mine, Wayne the butler, and I hope you don't mind me spending the entire show, which wasn't the intention. I only intended to spend 15 minutes talking about that. Of course, that means we've had no time for any of the emails or anything else I was going to tell you about. We're going to have to save it for the next show. As always, thanks for watching and listening today. Don't forget the email address, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. The main UK Talk website, unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. From myself, Chris Reardon, I'll see you and hear you on the next show. Bye-bye now.